Check 1 2. Is that working? Can you all hear me out there? How's that? Is that good? How about for all my TV crews? 3 2 1 1 2 3. Is that working? Y'all good? Oh, they are. Okay. So I don't have to yell. Tamara's coming. What? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. Pin this on. Come on out. There he goes. We had a wasp. But I'm using this too, right? Okay. Is that part of this thing? I'll point to it. You ready? 4 o'clock. Okay, all the media ready? Trying to find some shade over there. I see you. All right, hey, we're getting ready to do a press. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Doug McGowan, President, Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. Coming to you this afternoon on August 24th from the Hickory Hill neighborhood. Just wanted to provide you another update on the status of our restoration. But before I do, I just want to mention that we're here in Hickory Hill, one of the hardest hit neighborhoods in our service territory. We have rolled out our EPIC vehicle, the Emergency Preparedness Information Center. This is the first opportunity we've had to use this in an actual storm restoration emergency. We've brought it here as a resource and a tool to provide information to customers who have questions about the status of their information and to provide them additional resources like the ability to charge phones, get a drink of water, and otherwise have their questions answered. So when I spoke with you last night at about 5 o'clock, we had still more than 85,000 customers who were without power. As I stand here tonight, there are 35,000 customers without power, so we've made substantial progress since last evening. At the height of the storm, there were 140,000 customers without power. We have restored power to 105,000 customers in the first 48 hours, with 35,000 left to go, and that number continues to come down. Now, I want to mention that we've made substantial progress because we've been addressing the largest outages first. With all of the resources we have here, you can expect that pace of recovery will slow down just slightly. Not because we're not working any harder, but because the outage we're addressing will have a smaller number of customers per outage. So where we had been working on outages that had thousands of customers per outage, now we're working on outages that have hundreds of customers with the same number of resources. Let me talk about those resources. We now have a full complement of 75 outside contractor electric overhead crews that are working with us to match our 27 MLGW electric crews. That's more than 100 crews, more than 600 people just working on the electric system. They're paired with 250 tree trimming crews. We also have more electric overhead crews on the way that will join us tomorrow morning to pitch into the fight and help speed that restoration. I'm still forecasting that the vast majority of our customers will be on by Thursday evening. For those 105,000 customers, we've certainly beat that estimate, and I hope that's true for most customers. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask every customer who's without power to plan for the next few days, because you don't want to be the one that's expecting me to come to your house next. So, neighbors helping neighbors, everybody being prepared on their own is going to be the key to this. One question I know that I'll have is, what about the schools? When the storm happened, we had more than 50 schools impacted. Last night we had that down to 34. This morning it was down to 14. I will tell you that now it's just down to a handful of schools, and I have every expectation that MSCS, after talking to Dr. Richmond, will have school tomorrow. But I want you to pay attention to the announcements from the school system, because there may be a handful of schools that just don't have power. The expectation is for everybody to go to school tomorrow, but pay attention, because there might be just a few schools that don't have power despite our best efforts. That's good news for all of us, because we don't want the kids to miss another day. We are also prioritizing other critical circuits that have the most number of neighborhoods, the most number of employers on there, and we're going to continue that work. For those of you that are individual customer outages, we have our teams working at night and overtime just to get out there and try to address those from the other end of the spectrum, the individual customers and those small outages. So we're going to stay at that. I want to convey to all of our customers, we know how inconvenient this is for you. We know that many of you have lost food, and that's why we've sought all of the extra help. I am pleased with the response that we've had. I'm pleased with the performance of the team. We have exceeded the pace of expected restoral, but again, we'll be slowing down slightly as we address those smaller and smaller outages. I know many people still have questions. What I've said is, once we get down to about 30,000 outages, which is almost where we are now, our outage map will become more reflective of expected times of restoral, so please look at that. It will tell you waiting to be assessed, waiting for a crew to be assigned, or a crew is assigned, and it will give you the estimated time of restoration. So please keep checking back. If you have a question and you're unsure, please call our outage line or our emergency response line at 544-6, I'll have to get the number again, 544-6500, excuse me, 544-6500 if you have a question. So with that, I'll stop the update for tonight and take any questions that our media partners may have. Yes, Katie, go ahead. Yes. Yeah, so the storm concentrated in the south and southeastern part of Memphis and Shelby County. That's just how it formed up. I will tell you that I am very pleased that we invested so much in improving our grid and trimming trees. We would have had 200,000 customers out instead of 140 if we didn't do that. There was no special treatment of any particular neighborhood except what the storm decided to do. This was a physical impact of wind on power lines and poles and trees. Depending on how those power lines were oriented, if they were perpendicular to the wind, they got impacted heavily. If they were parallel to the wind, not as much. If you had an entire tree come down that was in the wind, that's what caused the outage. So we are taking it as Mother Nature presented it to us, and we have our resources laid out. It's hard to see here, but we do have a map if the media would like to take a picture after this. We have the outage map, and then we'll flip over to a map that shows where all of the outages are, where all of the MLGW crews are, and where the contracted crews are assigned, so that people can see that the crews are in the field and where they are arrayed relative to where they live. So thank you for the question. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
I know that there is assistance available, but is there any possibility that TEMA or FEMA might offer assistance as well?
Yes, the question is about whether TEMA or FEMA might offer assistance. And yes, they are standing by. They are in communication with the Shelby County Office of Emergency Preparedness and Homeland Security, as well as Memphis Office of Emergency Management, and they are offering their assistance should we need it. There are a lot of contractors that the city of Memphis has under contract to remove trees that are in the street. Now, it's a good question, because if a tree is on a power line, MLGW and our crews will handle it. If the tree is just simply across the street and not touching power lines, the city of Memphis will take care of that. Today, I think they have sufficient resources to address that, but TEMA and FEMA are supportive. Yes, ma'am.
So you said that Hickory Hill, this area, was one of the hardest hit areas. How is power restoration looking here in this area?
It's looking good. We have, despite the fact that we're 48 hours in and we still have some outages here, it has improved significantly since the beginning of the storm. And we have crews assigned to every major outage in the Hickory Hill area. So they are working. I want you to know that the crews started at about 6 or, depending on the crew, at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning. They will work 16 hours until 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. They will be relieved by some overnight crews, and then they'll be right back at it at 6 or 7 in the morning after they've had their period of rest. So the work is not going to stop, but we have the majority of people working during the daylight hours to get as much progress as we can, but we have to do it safely, so the crews have to take a break at some point to get a little rest and then come back re-energized in the morning. That doesn't mean nothing's happening overnight, because there's plenty of folks out there working overnight. Yes, sir.
I was wondering if you had a number of stoplights that were out.
I do not have the number of traffic signals. I can get that from city engineering, and I can ask for that update. So what happens is, if there is a power outage there, the city engineers do have some generators that they can hook up. They have some that are on that can be backup powered with a generator. We know that there is a number of those, and we ask everybody to treat that with a 4-way stop. One thing I would also mention, and thank you for bringing that up, there are still hazards in the neighborhood. There are trees that are leaning. There are some wires that are down. Now, some of those may be communication wires, some may be power lines. I ask that you treat them all as if they are hot, and keep your children and pets away until we can get out there and clear them up, because that's the number one hazard. As our teams are doing the work, please give them room to do that. I know you want to talk to them and ask them questions. Please direct those questions to us so they can do their work. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's a great, thank you for asking. We are not doing any disconnections for customers during this period of time. Number one, it's hot, and we typically wouldn't be doing that. But number two, when we have outages, we're certainly not going to disconnect. Quite frankly, all of our customer service agents who might be involved in that are actively involved in restoring customers' power. So it won't be until after we are well clear of this, and we will make plenty of announcement about when we anticipate restoring the resuming cutoffs. I don't anticipate that's until next week sometime. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to go back to the schools. I know you said that just a handful of schools are
Yes.
still without power, but we're expecting to be back in school tomorrow. So how will that work with the schools that are still without power?
Yeah, sure. So it would be a case-by-case basis with the schools. So as I said, we had 50 schools, then 34, then 14. We're down to about 9 right now. And of those 9, I believe that we will get about half of those on tonight as our crews continue to work. So we're talking literally about a handful of schools. That will be announced by either the school district or the individual school, if it's an individual school, and they'll let the parents know what their plan should be for the following day. So please pay attention to your child's school for further directions. Any other questions? Yes, Katie. Yes.
I know y'all made a big push for tree trimming in 2023, and that clearly paid off in the years to follow.
Yes.
Have you been trimming those trees on a rolling basis, or was it like just in 2024?
No, that's a great question. So the question was, in case people didn't hear, was about the tree trimming cycle. You've heard me say before that we were way behind. We hadn't met our goal in a number of years. That all changed in 2023 when we put a very aggressive plan together to trim trees and get back on. We're supposed to be on a 3-year cycle. Every 3 years, we cut every overhead tree on our 4,500 miles of lines. I'm pleased to report that we met that 3-year goal in 2 years and 3 months, and then we began immediately over again, starting that next 3-year cycle. As of today, we are exactly on our 3-year cycle, cutting 1/3 of the trees every year, and we will maintain that to this point going forward. It has made a significant difference. We are at an 8-year all-time high for our reliability and continuing to get better. Storms like this are unusual. This is our 7th largest storm in our history. And so, but overall, I think everybody has been feeling the benefit of having much improved reliability. When we have small pop-up thunderstorms and lighter winds, we just haven't had the outages that we've had before in the past. So it's working. The investments in our system are working. This is Mother Nature at its worst. It wasn't forecasted by anybody. Even the weathermen that I talked to this morning said, we thought just some thunderstorms with some gusty winds of 35 miles an hour. Nobody thought of bow echo with 80 to 100 mile an hour winds. So we can't control that. Everything that's within our control is what we're doing today. I can get crews here. I can get tree trimmers here. I can have all of you get the word out to customers, and I thank everybody for doing their part to keep our customers informed. Last question. Yes, sir.
There's a place residents can find updated list of cooling centers or places to find refuge today.
Say the last part, updated list of
Cooling centers and places they could find refuge.
Oh, yes. I think that the city of Memphis has that on their website. I do know that during the week, normal business hours, all of the community centers are open, all of the libraries are open, and they represent a great place during the heat of the day to go. The city of Memphis will have on their website any extended hours for respite centers that are available. And obviously they have special instructions for unhoused that remains unchanged. They have specific locations for the unhoused. And so that information is with the city of Memphis. So again, I want to thank you all for coming out here. I want to thank you for being great partners and sharing information. I want our customers to know that help is on the way. We have not forgotten about you, and we will get to you. We're not going to stop working until we get your power back on. Thank you all for coming out, and we'll look forward to another update tomorrow.